ever sent like a text and then like immediately regretted it?
Uh-huh.
You know that feeling like when you realize it could be taken the wrong way?
Yeah,
We've all been there.
definitely.
So today we're diving into something that affects like all of us.
Okay.
Communication.
Yeah.
But it's not just how we communicate.
Right.
It's also about like why it feels so hard sometimes, even with all the technology that we have.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're constantly connected,
Yeah.
but often in ways that lack depth.
I see.
It's like having a million shallow streams
Okay.
instead of one deep flowing river.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it's backed up by some pretty mind-blowing stats.
Okay.
Think about this. The average person sends 94 texts per day.
Wow.
That's a lot of like quick fire messages.
It is.
We're also spending 2.5 hours a day on social media.
Yeah.
So we're communicating constantly.
Right.
But are we truly connecting?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're bombarded with information. We prioritize like the quick and easy over the thoughtful and nuanced.
Right.
A study from MIT actually found
Right.
that fake news spreads 6 times faster than the truth online.
Wow.
Our brains are drawn to the sensational.
Right.
It's almost like mental fast food.
Yeah, and just like fast food, it can leave us feeling unsatisfied.
Yeah, definitely.
It's almost like there was a trade-off happening.
Mm-hmm.
The more we prioritize speed and quantity,
Right?
the less depth and quality we seem to get.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this trend
Yeah.
isn't limited to the digital world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's impacting our face-to-face interactions too.
Interesting.
Over 75% of millennials and Gen Z
Right.
actually prefer texting to talking on the phone.
Wow.
That's a huge shift from previous generations.
So we're losing the art of actual conversation.
It seems that way.
The back and forth, the upsaws, the laughter,
Well-
all those things that make a conversation feel real.
Yeah, those nonverbal cues we miss out on in digital communication are surprisingly important.
I see.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
You're trying to understand a movie with the sound off.
Okay.
You might get the general idea,
Right.
but you're missing the nuances,
Yeah.
the emotions.
You mean like facial expressions?
Exactly.
Tone of voice, body language?
Mhm.
Those subtle signals that tell us so much about what someone is really thinking or feeling.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Studies show that these nonverbal cues
Yeah.
can make up anywhere from 70% to 93% of our communication.
Wow. That's a lot.
It is.
So when we rely solely on text,
Right.
we're missing out on a huge chunk of the message.
Yeah, it's like trying to solve a puzzle
Yeah.
with half the pieces missing.
Right.
No wonder we end up with misunderstandings and frustration.
Yeah, but this isn't just about like awkward social situations.
Right.
There are real world consequences, right?
Absolutely. In the workplace, for example,
Okay.
70% of employees say that poor communication
Mm-hmm.
is a key factor in projects failing.
Wow. So this isn't just about hurt feelings.
No.
It can have a real impact on our productivity and success.
Exactly.
But perhaps the most startling statistic of all,
Okay.
and this one really makes you think,
Mm.
is that 61% of Americans report feeling lonely.
That's right. And it's a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're more connected than ever,
Yeah.
but more people feel lonely than ever. Why
yeah.
is that?
It makes you wonder if those quick likes, shares, and comments
Yeah.
are actually fulfilling our deep human need for connection.
That's a good question.
Are they just like a temporary Band-Aid
Yeah.
for something much deeper?
And to understand the answer,
Yeah.
we need to consider how our brains are wired.
Okay.
Humans are social creatures.
Right.
Millions of years of evolution
Yeah.
have shaped our brains to thrive on face-to-face interactions.
So even though we live in this digital age,
Yeah.
we're still wired for that primal
Mm-hmm.
in-person connection.
Right.
It's almost like we're trying to override millions of years of evolution.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
We crave those subtle cues,
Yeah.
the tone of voice, the warmth of a smile. Those are the building blocks of empathy and understanding,
Okay.
the things that make us feel truly connected.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But where do we go from here? Are we doomed to a future of miscommunication and loneliness?
I don't think so.
Or is there a way to bridge this gap between our digital lives
Mm-hmm.
and our human needs?
That's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued.
Good.
This is getting really interesting.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's
Yeah. Let's keep going.
let's keep going.
It may seem like we've been focusing on the downsides of digital communication,
Yeah.
but there's there's another side of the story.
Okay.
Technology can also be a powerful tool for connection.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I was starting to get a little pessimistic there.
Yeah.
How can technology help us connect better?
Think about it a century ago. Communicating with someone on the other side of the world meant weeks or even months of waiting for a letter.
Yeah.
Now you can have a face-to-face video chat in an instant.
That's true.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And what about language barriers?
Oh, yeah.
They used to be such huge obstacles.
Yeah.
But now we have translation apps that can break down those barriers in real time.
It's amazing.
Imagine being able to have a conversation with someone who speaks a completely different language.
Yeah.
Technology makes that possible.
Exactly. We're seeing communication channels open up
Yeah.
that were unimaginable just a few decades ago.
Right.
And then there's the accessibility revolution.
Okay.
Over 85% of the world now has access to a smartphone.
Wow.
It's changing everything.
So you're saying that even in remote corners of the world, people can connect and share information like never before?
Precisely.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what are some examples?
Well, farmers in remote villages can connect with agricultural experts thousands of miles away.
Wow.
Students can access educational resources from world-renowned institutions.
Right.
Artists can share their work with a global audience.
That's incredible.
The possibilities are truly endless.
It sounds like technology is leveling the playing field in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think it is.
What about AI?
Uh-huh.
We hear so much about it these days.
Yeah.
How is AI impacting communication?
AI is already playing a role, and it's only going to become more significant. Think about AI-powered captioning, which provides real-time transcription for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. Or consider real-time translation tools that are helping people who speak different languages to communicate more seamlessly.
So AI has the potential to give a voice to those who have traditionally been excluded from the conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
It's about breaking down barriers and creating a more inclusive world where everyone can participate in the dialogue.
That's a really powerful idea.
I think so.
But how do we balance this incredible potential with the risks we talked about earlier?
Yeah, that's a great question.
How do we make sure technology enhances human connection rather than replacing it?
That's the key question.
Okay.
It all comes back to intentionality.
Right.
We need to be more mindful about how we use these powerful tools. If you need to have a complex or sensitive conversation, don't rely on text messages where nuance can get lost.
Right.
Pick up the phone or have a video call.
So it's not about ditching our smartphones and going back to carrier pigeons.
No, not at all.
It's about using the right tool for the right job.
Exactly. And when it comes to social media, be more selective about how you engage.
Okay.
Instead of passively scrolling through an endless stream of content, seek out online communities where people are having thoughtful discussions and sharing diverse perspectives.
It's about quality over quantity again, isn't it?
It is.
It's like choosing a gourmet meal over fast food. You might not get as much.
Right.
But what you do get is so much more nourishing.
That's a great way to put it.
And this shift towards more intentional communication is happening in the workplace as well.
Yeah, it is.
Many companies are moving away from purely digital communication and embracing hybrid models.
Right.
They're recognizing that even a few hours of face-to-face interaction each week can make a huge difference in team dynamics.
Absolutely.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where technology and human connection work together in harmony.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the best of both worlds to create a more connected and fulfilling work environment.
All of this is great for the big picture, but what about on a personal level?
Right.
What are some practical things we can all do to become better communicators in our everyday lives?
It starts with simple things.
Okay.
When you're communicating digitally, be clear and concise.
Right.
Ask clarifying questions if something is unclear.
Got it.
If you're having a disagreement with someone, resist the urge to fire off a quick text. Take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose a communication method that will allow for a more nuanced and empathetic conversation.
And we can't forget about active listening.
Oh, yeah, that's so important.
It's so easy to get distracted in this fast-paced world.
It is.
But truly listening to someone without interruption or judgment is one of the most valuable gifts we can give each other.
Absolutely. Active listening is the foundation of empathy and understanding. It's about truly hearing what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally.
Okay.
It's about trying to see the world from their perspective.
Oh, it's not just about waiting for your turn to speak.
No.
but about really absorbing what the other person is trying to convey.
That's right. It's about being fully present in the conversation.
Okay.
Listening with your ears, your eyes, and your heart.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space where the other person feels heard, seen, and understood.
All of this makes me realize that good communication is really a skill we can develop.
Yeah.
It's not something we're born with,
right?
But something we can work on and improve over time.
Absolutely. It's like learning a musical instrument or a new language.
Yeah.
It takes effort and practice.
Right.
But the rewards are immeasurable. The more we invest in our communication skills, the stronger our relationships will become, both personally and professionally.
This is all so fascinating.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
I feel like we've really explored the full spectrum of communication in the digital age. The challenges, the opportunities, and the things we can all do to be more intentional and effective communicators.
Yes, we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
But perhaps the most important takeaway is this human communication isn't broken.
Right.
It's evolving.
Yeah.
And we have the power to shape that evolution.
Okay, so what does that look like in practice? What's the one thing our listeners should take away from all of this?
Be mindful.
Good. Be curious. Yeah. Be intentional.
Got it.
Don't let technology dictate how you connect with the world.
Okay.
Use it as a tool to enhance your relationships.
Yeah.
Not replace them.
That's powerful advice.
Yeah.
And it leaves me feeling optimistic. Even though we face these new challenges, we also have incredible opportunities to connect with each other in ways that were never possible before.
That's true.
This is really just the beginning of a new chapter in human communication.
I agree, and it's a chapter that we're all writing together.
Yeah.
So let's make it a good one.
Okay, sounds good. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We've journeyed from communication breakdowns to tech's potential for connection.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating exploration.
Yeah.
We've seen how technology can be both a challenge and an opportunity.
Right.
How it can amplify both our worst communication habits and our best.
It seems like the key is to be really intentional
about
how we use technology.
We need to be the ones in control, not the other way around.
Right. Human communication isn't broken. It's simply evolving. And we have the power to shape that evolution by becoming more intentional, more mindful, and more curious about how we connect with each other.
It sounds like you're saying that the future of communication isn't predetermined.
It's not.
It's something we're actively creating.
Yes.
With every choice we make.
That's exactly right. And that can feel empowering.
Yeah.
But also a bit daunting, right?
A little bit.
We're all responsible for creating a communication landscape that's both meaningful and fulfilling.
So where do we even begin?
Yeah.
What are some concrete steps
we
can take to become better communicators?
First, remember that technology is a tool.
Okay.
Choose the right tool for the job.
Okay.
For a nuanced conversation.
Yeah.
Opt for a phone call or video chat.
Yeah.
Instead of a text message.
Okay.
When you do communicate digitally, be clear and concise. Right. Ask clarifying questions to avoid misunderstandings.
That makes sense. It's like using a hammer when you need a hammer.
Yeah.
And a screwdriver when you need a screwdriver.
Exactly.
Don't try to force one tool to do everything.
Right.
And when you're face-to-face, practice active listening.
Yeah. Put down your phone. Make eye contact.
Right.
And truly listen to what the other person is saying, both with their words and their body language.
Active listening seems to be a recurring theme here.
It is.
Why is it so important?
Think about a time when you felt truly heard by someone. It probably felt pretty amazing, right? Active listening is about creating that feeling for others.
Okay.
It's about showing them that they matter.
Right.
That their thoughts and feelings are valued.
It sounds like active listening is about more than just hearing words.
Yeah.
It's about creating a connection, a sense of empathy and understanding.
Exactly. It's about stepping outside of your own perspective and trying to see the world through the other person's eyes.
Right.
It's about recognizing that even though we may have different experiences and opinions, we all share the same fundamental human need to be heard and understood.
So how do we get better at active listening?
Well,
it sounds like a pretty challenging skill to master.
It takes practice, for sure.
Okay.
But here's a simple tip.
Yeah.
When someone is talking, resist the urge to jump in with your own thoughts or opinions.
Right.
Instead, focus on really hearing what they're saying.
Okay.
Ask clarifying questions.
Yeah.
Reflect back what you've heard
to
make sure you understand.
It's almost like holding up a mirror to the other person
Yeah.
reflecting back their words and feelings so they can see themselves more clearly.
That's a great analogy. And when you do share your own perspective, do it with respect and humility.
Okay.
Recognize that there's always more than one way to see things.
It sounds like good communication is really about building bridges, not walls.
It is.
It's about finding common ground, even when we disagree.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
And
here's something to keep in mind.
Okay.
Those challenging conversations, the ones where we have to navigate different perspectives, are often the ones that lead to the deepest connections and the most profound personal growth.
So even though those conversations might feel uncomfortable in the moment, they can actually be incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. They challenge us to stretch our empathy muscles.
Okay.
To step outside of our comfort zones and to see the world in new and unexpected ways.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Good, I'm glad.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on communication in the digital age.
Yeah, me too.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one message you want our listeners to take away?
Communication is a superpower.
Wow.
It's the ability to connect with others, to share ideas, to build relationships, and to create change.
Okay.
Don't take it for granted. Cultivate it, nurture it, use it wisely.
Got it.
And remember, even though technology may have changed the how of communication, the why remains deeply human.
Okay.
It's about empathy, clarity.
Right.
And the shared desire to be understood.
That's a beautiful thought to end on.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of communication.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to keep the conversation going.
Yes.
Be curious, be kind, be intentional.
Yeah.
And never underestimate the power of a truly meaningful connection.